Hey, if you click this video because you want the list of 1,000 English vocabulary words and expressions used by native English speakers in real life, you can have it right now. That's right, the full list. All you have to do is click the link in the description and you'll get it totally for free. But if you also want the formula that will help you learn and use the words and expressions, you got to keep watching. I'm Teacher Tiffany. Let's jump right in. All right, here's the breakdown. Now, this formula has 5 different steps. Select, memorize, visualize, apply, and review. Now, here's the first step. Step number 1. You're going to select the 3 words that you will use for that day. Now, I want to emphasize something. As an English learner, sometimes when you're studying vocabulary, you feel that you have to learn 25, 30, 40, or 50 words every single day. Now, it's not bad to learn lots of words, but the problem is you learn them but never use them. And it's simply because you've never had an amazing formula like this to help you learn words in chunks and also learn how to use them in real situations. So, even though 3 may seem like a small number, over time that number will grow and your ability to use what you learn will also grow. So, how can you find these 3 words? Now, you can find them from TV shows or movies that you watch. Remember, I've told you before that when I was in South Korea learning Korean, 안녕하세요 to all of my students from Korea, I used to watch cooking programs. Why? Because I enjoy cooking. So watching Korean cooking programs was good for me because I was already interested in that topic. So when new words popped up, I could select them because I was already interested in the topic, and it was easy for me to remember those words because I had an interest in the topic. Now, again, I told you all that you can get the PDF where I have 1,000 words and expressions already organized for you. But you can still use this method if you want to get other words or expressions. Now, maybe you don't watch TV. Maybe you like to read. You can select words from books, magazines, or the newspapers you read. And another way of selecting words is to find synonyms for words you already know. So, for example, you already know the word big, right? But maybe you've never heard the word enormous. After me. Enormous. Excellent. Now, the word enormous just means very big. It's a synonym for the word big. So you can choose words that you already know and select 3 of them and then find synonyms for the words. This is another way to select 3 words. Step 1 of the formula. Now, after you've selected your words, you want to move on to step number 2, which is memorize. You're going to memorize the definitions of the words from the previous day. Now, here's the interesting thing about this formula. You're going to select the words, but you're not going to memorize them on the same day. And at the end, I'm going to show you how it's broken down, all right? It's a cycle, but you're going to select the words one day and then relax. And then the next day, you will memorize the words that you selected. So how will you memorize these words? Let me explain. You're going to read over the words and meanings and think about them. It's so important for you to take time to let the words sink in, to understand the meaning. Just meditate on the words. Then after you've done that, what you're going to do is you're going to make flashcards for each word. Now, I love flashcards because they're a visual way for you to understand or learn something, right? Look at the word, look at the meaning, pick them up, and it's a good way to practice. Then you're going to time yourself as you memorize each word. Your goal is to learn 3 words in 3 seconds. So you'll test yourself. Hey, do I know the meaning of this word? And you give yourself 30 seconds to practice using the flashcards that you made. Now, the next step is right here. Step number 3, visualize. You're going to select various images that go along with each of the vocabulary words or expressions. Use them to memorize the words more. Now, I've talked about the importance of having visual triggers. I'm a very visual person, but even when I teach students who aren't necessarily artistic, when I use visual triggers or cues, they learn things faster. So let me say, for example, if I said the word big, what comes to mind? What picture pops in your mind? Maybe a big animal or a big car. Something in your mind comes up when you think of the word big. This is what we're searching for. So let me show you the steps in order to visualize. First, like I mentioned, think about the word and see what picture pops into your head. Real quick, for example, we learned enormous, a synonym for big. When I think of the word enormous, a whale pops in my mind, right? It's huge, right? It's enormous. So in my mind, I have a whale when I think of the word enormous. So what I need to do then is go online and find an image that matches the word. Remember, we're still working with 3 words a day, right? So I found an image of a whale because it represents enormous. Then what's going to happen is right here. Make image flashcards and practice with them. So I'll have my image of the whale, and on the back, it'll say enormous. So whenever I see a whale, instead of thinking big, I will say, whoa, that's enormous. Again, visual triggers are so important when you're trying to not only learn, but when you're trying to use what you learn. All right. So we have this step completed now. Now we move to step number 4, the apply step. Now that you know the meanings, you're going to use each of the vocabulary words in a sentence that you create. So how is this done? So again, review the meaning and think about your life. Think about your life. Is there anything enormous in your life? Anything you know that is really big, all right? Think about it for a little while. This is why we've chosen 3 words, because this is going to take a few moments, right, for you to understand and process and connect things to your life. Now, after you reviewed and thought about your life, then you're going to find a dictionary sentence. So, for example, I chose enormous, and the sentence is, the building is enormous. But now I've thought about my life. So my sentence, just changing one part of the sentence, could be, my university is enormous. Think about it. When I was in South Korea, I did my graduate studies in South Korea. The university was huge. It was enormous. To walk from one end to the other took a long time. So when I was thinking about my life and the word enormous, university. My university is enormous. So I've connected the word to my life, and I've applied the word by making my own sentence following the pattern that I saw in the dictionary. This is what you need to do. Now, the final step is the review step. In the breakdown method is to review all of the previous steps and see which step you need to practice more. Again, think about it. As you've went through the steps, right? Maybe when you got to the visualize step for the word enormous, it wasn't that easy. So you're going to go back and review that step for that word. Or maybe for another word, maybe you have extravagant, right? Extravagant. That's a word that you learned, but you're having a hard time memorizing the definition based on the first flashcard. So you go back to that step and you review on that day. So let me show you how this is broken down. Now we have our 5 steps, but this is a 16-day cycle. Now you'll see on the right, I've listed the words and expressions. I've listed 12 words, right? Now again, these words come from the PDF. Again, you can get it for free. Click the link in the description. But look at the breakdown right here. You'll see that we have the days, the first column. Then we have the second column is select, third column memorize, fourth column visualize, fifth column apply, and sixth column is review. So each day you're going to be going through certain words. Day 1, you're just selecting 3 words. Day 2, you're selecting numbers 4, 5, and 6, but now you're memorizing numbers 1, 2, and 3. This is why I said it's so important. It's 3 words a day, but you're simply selecting on the first day, and the second day you're going to start memorizing. So again, on the second day, I'm going to be memorizing my go-to thing, round it up, and born and raised in. Very useful expressions. So then we move on to day number 3. Now on day number 3, I'm now selecting numbers 7, 8, and 9. I'm memorizing 4, 5, and 6. And I'm also, what am I doing? I am also visualizing numbers 4, 5, and 6. Looking at day number 3, right? So you see that the memorize step and the visualize step happen on the same day because you're creating flashcards. So this happens on the same day. Then if we move on to the apply phase, right? Now we're on day number 3 for the numbers 1, 2, and 3. You'll see that I'm applying now. So again, day number 1, I've selected words 1, 2, and 3. Day number 2, I am memorizing number 1, 2, and 3, and I'm also visualizing numbers 1, 2, and 3. Now on day number 3, again, you see in the left column, day number 3, now I'm applying numbers 1, 2, and 3. And if you follow this simple cycle, you'll get to the review phase. Now, the review phase is on day 16 of the cycle. So after going through this 16-day cycle, you'll have memorized 42 words. And you repeat this cycle for a year, and you'll not only have learned 1,000 English words and expressions, you'll learn how to use them properly and apply them in real life situations simply by following the 5-step formula and the 16-day cycle. This is how you can learn and use 1,000 English words and expressions. Now, remember I told you you can get the PDF where I already organized 1,000 words and expressions for you. Again, 1,000 words and expressions already organized for you, and you can download it now totally for free. Now, again, this method is going to help you literally take your English to the next level and sound more fluent. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you learned a lot, and I hope these steps help you take your English vocabulary to the next level. I will see you next week. Don't forget to study English hard, and as always, remember to speak English. You still there? You know what time it is. It's story time. Hey, I said it's story time. All right, guys. Today's story is it's a little traumatic. I want to tell you about one of the apartments I lived in when I was in South Korea. Now, I'm a very organized person, very clean. I like things very neat and tidy. So I've had to live in many different apartments, but they were all very clean. However, this one apartment was not clean. Now, my friend and I, we're good friends now, but we had just met each other. She and I, we were both teachers, and we had to move into a new apartment. The apartment wasn't new. It was new for us because we were moving from a previous apartment. So when we walked into the apartment, there had been someone who was living there before us, a guy. When we walked into the apartment, there were things everywhere, clothes, dishes, everywhere. So we said, okay, well, we'll come back when everything is cleaned up, right? So we came back maybe a day or two later because we still had a place to live prior to moving. So we said, okay, once they've cleaned everything up, it'll be fine. So we came back 2 days later. She and I, we had our suitcases, she had her room, I had my room, and we put our suitcases down and we were just kind of walking around the apartment to see, how everything looked. So she and I both were in the kitchen area walking around, and out the corner of my eye, I saw something move. And I said, whoa, wait a minute. I said, did you see that? She said, did I see what? And then while we're talking, there's another across the counter. I said, girl, I don't know what's going on right now, but I don't do little bugs like that. So when we turned our head, we saw that there were multiple roaches. I don't do roaches. I don't like roaches. Crawling on top of the counter. So again, I said I'm a very neat person, very clean, and she was also very clean. She's still clean. So we said, you know what? Okay, hey, we haven't unpacked our stuff yet. We're going to thoroughly clean this apartment so that these little creatures can go away. Now, again, it was an apartment building, so sometimes it can be the bugs can come from another person's apartment. But realizing that the previous person living there was not the cleanest, we thought, okay, maybe it was because of him. Anyway, so we thoroughly sanitized the entire apartment, right? Especially the kitchen. We had our bleach out. We had our gloves on. We had everything ready. We were really cleaning hard, right? And we finished. Everything was spick and span. It looked beautiful, right? We were like, okay, perfect. We've cleaned. These little creatures are going to go away. So we decided to go to sleep. She went to her room. I went to my room. We fell asleep. So the next morning we woke up and I had an early class. So I went to the kitchen in order to make my breakfast. I opened the refrigerator. I took out something from the refrigerator, maybe some tofu or some eggs, and I put it on the counter, right? Because I was going to cook it in the pan. I set it on the counter and I went down to get a pan. When I came up with the pan, I saw something looking at me. It was a roach. He was like, hey, if you're eating, I'm eating. I said, oh, no. As I proceeded to move the food, more roaches started coming out of the wall. I mean, it was a horror movie. There were so many roaches. Now, again, I said, my friend and I are both clean. We just moved in, so we hadn't done anything. So my friend woke up and I said, we have a problem, girl. There are roaches everywhere. She said, what do you mean? Like, we clean with bleach, we clean. I said, I know, but the method we used didn't work. So then we tried a different method. We tried to use a different cleaning product. We called our mothers. We tried to figure out, hey, how do we clean so that the roaches don't come back? So my mom gave me a ton of tips. Her mom gave her a ton of tips, and we tried everything. So about for a week's period, we were terrorized by these roaches. I mean, every time we went in the kitchen and took any type of food product out, they started coming out of the walls. I mean, honestly, just thinking about it, it wasn't one, two, it was like 10, 12 roaches just coming out of everywhere. So we really were, we were spooked out. So I decided, I was talking to one of my other good friends and she was in America and I was like, girl, I have to tell you something. I'm traumatized. And she was like, what's wrong? I said, we've tried everything. I said, we have roaches in our kitchen. We just moved here, but there are roaches everywhere. And I told her, I said, I knew it was bad when, and this really happened. I said, I knew it was bad when I went to my bedroom because we thought they were only in the kitchen. I went to my bedroom and I was about to go sleep one night. I opened my drawer where my clothes were and there was a roach sitting in front looking at me. The roach wasn't even scared. Like I pulled the drawer out and the roach was like, hey girl, what's going on? He literally was that close and he wasn't scared. I said, okay. I looked at the roach and I said, as long as you don't touch me in my sleep, we're fine. And I closed the drawer. That's how frustrated I had gotten. I didn't even want to move any clothes and see multiple roaches in my drawer. So I was telling my friend this and she was like, oh no, Tiff. Oh no. She said, I have a solution for you. Now I tried every method. She said, Tiff, this method is going to work. I said, okay, what do you have? She said, get boric acid. I said, what is boric acid? She said, trust me. She said, get boric acid and put it on every crease and every crack in your kitchen. I said, okay. She said, I'm telling you in 3 days, they'll all be gone. I said, okay. I said, you know what? I've tried everything. So I told my friend that I was living with, we bought boric acid and we put it in every crease and every crack. In 3 days, the roaches were gone. I mean, gone. Like I went to my kitchen after 3 days and I took some food out after we had cleaned up the boric acid. Not one roach came out the wall. I said, thank you, Jesus. I was so happy because, again, it was really traumatizing. But here's the interesting thing. My friend and I had tried every method we knew. We had called our mothers, we had called other friends, and we still couldn't figure out what to do. But one friend had a method that I never heard about. And she said, if you follow this method, if you use this product, in 3 days, they'll be gone. So what's the message, guys? Today, I taught you a new formula that will help you learn English vocabulary words and expressions, but not just learn them, but learn how to use them in real life situations. A brand new formula that maybe you didn't know before, learning 3 words a day. And if you follow the method, just like I followed my friend's method, you will also see results. Now, guys, I hope you enjoyed this traumatizing story. Again, it had a good end, but I hope it helped you understand more about me, more about my situation. And also, I hope it encourages you to follow the formula and watch this video over and over again so that you can also understand the formula to learn more words and expressions. All right, guys, again, click the link in the description to get your free PDF. I will talk to you all next time. Have an awesome week. I'll see you next time.